Hi, welcome back. Talk Walk, מדברות הולכות. Today our show going to be in English because we have a special guest.
Hi.
And I will represent him after I will represent the name of the show. Step and a half, the brain and the future of a professional athlete. So, here's our Joe, Alexander, that is also, you used to be an NBA
Correct.
player.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
When it was?
So that was 2008, so more than 10 years ago, long time.
10 years.
Yep.
And he still looks young, like 8 years old, right?
Toda, yeah.
Toda.
Okay.
And we are going to use his grateful heart and sensitive heart and his really inspiring life story and to answer the question. But first, let's hear the question. And after I will explain why I have this in my hand. Hey girls, how are you? I wanted to share with you some of my worries and fears from the future. My 15-year-old son has been a professional athlete for many years now. He is in the Israeli kayak rowing team, and it means everything for him. I support him all the time, but I'm also wondering if he can provide a stable income in the future. He doesn't have any time on his hands, literally, and every time frame that he do have, he invents in this sport. What are your thoughts on that matter? How is the world of mindfulness coaching copes with the thoughts and trouble us as parents regarding the future of our children? I would like some advice, tips, and edge on how to feel more secure about my son's future. Okay, wow. Thank you for the question. It's an amazing subject. And I took this question, and luckily I got to meet this wonderful soul 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
Yep.
And I knew that I need to bring him. So I know it's going to be a really fascinating show. But let's say thanks to the universe first, because I had a really, really challenging night. After a lawyer and a doctor in Israel that even has a lot of power in our own government, bullshit, decided to ruin my car just because my brother made a mistake and parked on the wrong parking spot. And I wanted to use my energy in that way, but I couldn't because I'm choosing light. But then I got it, so now it's here, so I will check it on my guest.
But it's also pink.
And it says that I am a queen.
And you are a queen,
So
and that's
okay.
okay. And it's Yom Kippur, and everything
So
is
we will-
okay,
yeah.
and we let it go.
Let it go.
So, let it go.
Thank you. So, when did you know that you want to be a professional basketball player?
I knew very early when I was before 10 years old. I started not just knowing, but training like a professional by about 8 or 9 years old. So probably like 10 years before most people decide.
So you got a basketball in your hand and you just saw you there? You had a vision? You remember that?
Yeah, I remember very well that like, it wasn't a vision, it was like I had information from somebody else that I didn't know who, that was telling me that I was going to do something. And it was...
Like your higher self, you mean?
I don't know what exactly to call it. I just know that it was something inside of me that I couldn't ignore it. It was almost like something taking my attention. And if I tried to do other things in my life, it would say, no, you come this way. And that was information that I didn't share with anybody because I felt that it was true, I knew that it was real, and I knew nobody else would understand it. So I just followed it sort of secretly by myself. And
But your parents, they support you to go on this track. It's not so easy to be a professional athlete.
my parents were the most supportive people that you could want. They used to tell me, whatever you choose to do in life, we're behind you. I think they were at all of my basketball games my whole life, both my father and my mother. And I couldn't have done it without that type of support. But I was a very secretive kid, and I didn't tell anybody exactly what I was doing. I think my father knew that I wanted to be a professional player, but he didn't know that I was really serious. like more serious than you could possibly imagine. So, yeah, they supported me definitely. Financially, I mean, in every way. Drove me to tryouts, drove me to workouts. They gave me everything I could have wanted.
But you feel you can understand this mom that sent us this question? You think that your parents was worried about your future, or you didn't felt it because, I don't know, you came from a house that can afford it, like with the money and stuff like that?
Well, with this question, it doesn't sound to me like she's so worried about the kid's future in general or the kid's finances in general. I think what she's worried about is combining those concerns with the time that he's putting in. It's her son, right?
Yeah.
Because when you combine it with the type of time that it takes to be a professional, it starts to look like a sickness. Like, because people don't understand, you know, she said it in the question, it's taking up all his time and energy, every second of his life and every second of his attention. And people think that as professionals, we just go to games and we go to practice and then we train a little bit. But it's so much more than that. It's everything else in our life disappears. So I think what she's saying is he's sacrificing everything else in his life, and is it for something that's worth sacrificing? So I can understand exactly what she's saying. Because, you know, this is a question I asked myself like every day, my whole life. So I understand what she's saying.
This is a really amazing point that you put it up here. And actually, I wanted to ask, my question was about something in a different direction, but it's better direction, the direction you took, because the thing is, it doesn't matter if it's a sport, right? It could be a singing career, it could be a lot of things. Every soul, every human being has this passion about it. Some of the souls were lucky enough to understand that something is taking them no matter what. Some of them wasn't so lucky, and even they started to go with that passion, something did take them to another road. But in the end, they will get to the road they need to get to. But the interesting thing about it is, where is the balance, right? Because everybody knows that the key in life is balance. Balance between light,
Proportions and balances.
and black. Between being a compression, I would say chemla, compassion, but not losing yourself and not losing your truth. You also need balance there. You need balance between giving and receiving. A lot of sensitive souls finding themselves in a journey that they are giving too much. It takes time to understand that they are worthy enough to receive, and if they will be empty, they couldn't give enough. And I want to ask you, did you felt this direction of the mom put it out? Like, you felt that if you're looking on the kid you were, from those kind of eyes, like from now perspective, you think that you find a balance, or you were only there? You have time for friends, for a love relationship, or your mind was, I'm there, this is the only thing that make me, I know, only about that, and that's it?
Ooh, it's a great question. On the surface, there was no balance. There was zero. You know, in life, you try to become a well-developed person in all areas, socially, you know, your body and health, and then your career. But if you're chasing something in your career that hundreds of millions of people want, if you put any attention somewhere else, you're not going to achieve it. So it becomes so extremely unbalanced in that way.
So you feel that this point of view that the mom is putting out here about you, if you're looking back, the kid you were, from today's eyes, you think you were balancing? You think you were just there?
Okay, so nobody's going to like my answer.
Amazing, I like it.
We usually like this kind of answer.
Because it means it's like authentic and real.
And especially the kid won't like my answer.
Amazing. We don't know if the kid will watch it, but if he will watch it, amazing. What is the answer?
So the life you live to become a professional athlete has no resemblance of balance. It's the most extreme type of It's the
thank you
most-
for that. Hey.
Slicha, slicha.
1-1.
That's my first English,
I
my first
test
Hebrew word for
God,
today. Slicha.
even with an NBA, former
Player.
NBA player. It's 1-1. It's a tie. Okay, I like the answer.
Yeah.
Explain it. Thank you for your truth, your wild truth.
Look, the life that you have to engage in is an investment, and the investment is radically out of balance, and it only becomes balanced in the last 10% of the investment. And that's the same for any type of business that you want to build. It's always the first 90% is you give and give and give, and you get nothing. And then in the last 10%, you change your mind, you start to do everything the opposite of how you did it before, you lose your compassion, and you become an animal. You lose all the habits of being nice and kissing people's ass, and you change in the last 10%. And that's when everything comes back to you that you invested for the previous 10 years.
Oh, amazing! So I think that I'm starting to receive all the things because I'm starting to balancing my compassion. Like my mom. Sorry, I'm just
Please,
taking to
please.
myself for a second, but it's important because this is the real life, and you just say something that is really true because when you really want something, it can be dangerous. Why? Because when you really want it, you will be afraid to lose people that can help you on the way or opportunities that can help you on the way. But the truth is that you are losing yourself if you do that. And it just keeps you back.
You know, but it's not only about professional things like basketball or...
This is what I'm saying. This is life.
Or about your passion for acting and what you want and what you would sacrifice for it. I think it's mostly in every profession, because even for me as a lawyer, very far from basketball, even though basketball player, we studied together.
The ego?
With the
ego
Maccabi Tel
level
Aviv.
of lawyers and basketball players, I think if they didn't do enough of inner work, it will be similar. So
It's
feel,
the
feel,
same.
Feel free.
It's not only basketball. It's not only basketball. I'm saying that Olsi Perry and few of the basketball player from
Let's stop
Maccabi
it
Tel
for a
Aviv.
second. My mom knows
And
names in the basketball world.
No.
Who are you?
Because they studied law with me together in the university.
Really?
Yes, but some of them was my teacher. He was trying to teach me to do this step and a half.
Ah, amazing, because I was afraid that you are coming to say that he wanted to teach you other thing, and I'm like, okay,
No,
don't go there.
just
don't go
step
there.
and a half. You can be.
What kind of step and a half?
Don't worry.
Can you show us?
The way of Nesherke, it's not put the ball in the sal, but it wasn't very successful. But anyway, what I wanted to say that when I became a lawyer, I thought that how can you charge people for helping them? They are already in a problem, and I studied law to be a lawyer to help them. So now I will help them and take money for the help. They don't have money. I have to help them. This was the stupid point of view that on the 20s of
Amazing, I agree with you.
to
and
do it.
just-
But afterwards, you learn that people are, when you give too much, they take very easily. And until you do this balance, it's a problem.
No.
So thank you. Now we will finish.
It was me.
The thing that I wanted to say. No, it's right. This is what I wanted to say.
Mejor.
So she wanted me, the lawyer that I mentioned, right, with the boxing. I have boxing skills. Be aware of that. But I can use them because I'm going with the law. So the lawyer and the doctor that I was mentioning in the beginning of this episode. All the night, he didn't want to. They said, we didn't do this. It's not us, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't have the proof. But the owner, it's just, they're just renting the parking spot. She told me, he's a lawyer, and they're like this serious couple. And I didn't have the proof yet, but my intuition knows. And I told her, don't believe, not the title, not the words, not anything, because we are in these days, unfortunately, that it's like black wears white. And this is, and we had the conversation when we just get here. Give me 2 seconds because it's in English and I want to finish it. It's challenging for me. And you asked me, but it's always been like that. Mm-hmm. And I think it wasn't, it's been like that, but not in that way. Like, I feel that it used to be that black, it was black and white, but the black used to wear black. Mm-hmm. And I feel that in the last 2-3 years, the black starting to
wear white.
Okay.
And it's a really important thing that we need to understand, that even if someone using the right words, even if he's volunteering, even if he's a healer and you have retreat, you saw the news, right? Everything comes. Everything is starting like to pop up. Yes, thank you, universe. Don't be a basketball player, don't be a lawyer, don't be anything before you're training enough your intuition muscle, and you're training your body and mind to understand how your intuition speaks with you, because your intuition will speak with you in really, really deep inner places in different ways. And this is your gun machine, and this is your shield, and this is the real you, and this is the thing that will lead you to not making choices that you're making just because you're afraid of losing something.
But nevertheless,
wait.
You
so
must...
she wants me to be compassionate with him because after I took the video and he doesn't have any other choice because it's his name right now. Oh my God! So of course he will admit it and he will say, "Let's leave it behind us." But I'm sorry, my love. You caught me in the wrong timing because I used to be really compassionate and now I'm going to the middle. And good luck. Let's have fun. Yeah. What do you want to say?
I'm saying that sometimes this is the real balance and proportions, because fights in life, you can have a lot of fights over a lot of things, especially for your truth. And even though it's a right fight because it's for your truth, and even though someone lies and he did very bad things or something like this, I think that if we give a person a way to change and fix his bad deeds, sometimes even though we are very, very hurt and it's not nice, we can.
I'm sorry, but
we can leave it.
It's not close enough for me to hurt me.
I'm not talking about.
It doesn't concentrate the way.
I'm not talking about this person. I'm talking. It's in relative to the balances and the borders and.
Of course, this is me. This is me balancing myself.
And the things that we
now I have
to do.
proof. Now it's the first time in a lot of years that I have his balls in my hands and I have proof. And I'm not going, I feel like a winner right now because I feel that this is the right thing to do. And this is the first time I can do something about it. And now I feel justice.
Okay, but every problem is for itself. It's not that one person has to pay for 10 other person that they did very bad things and you couldn't get the judge.
I'm going to give him a free choice. I'm going to say to him, if you mean it, if you really want to do inner work, great. Take your Facebook, where all of your government friends, take your balls, put it on a status, say, hi, my name is like this and like this. Hi, did a mistake.
Okay, everyone is doing it in another way. Sometimes they.
I don't care. I'm stop caring about everyone.
Okay, let's
stop caring
continue.
about myself and the world because this is approach that will not get anywhere.
Okay.
But if you will,
I don't think so. Brave, but let's go on. I don't think so.
If you'll be brave and do that, okay. I don't agree with you, and it's my case, and I will do whatever I want. Thank you. And I'm stop. The problem is that people think that the police can't do anything. They
can't do.
No, but this is the problem because the police. This is not.
There is no police in Israel.
But it doesn't matter because inside of the police,
No.
You have a really light soul walkers.
Okay.
Like I met yesterday. And if everybody will be in that approach, that, oh, okay, I can do anything. I will not spend my time on say that I just saw somebody beat someone because they won't do anything. Because 90% of the people will sit because they care about their time. They care about their own life. And they think that if they will not do the minimum things, like a little step and a half, do just a step and a half. Stop being silent when you see things. The only way I had an approach to the cameras was because 2 months before, a crazy thing happened in the building. 99% of nobody wanted to do something about it. Until I took the gloves and put it out there. And just because of the step and a half, we realized inside all Fosishkin area that there is a little kid involved, an 8 to 6 years old kid involved in a really bad situation with two parents, that they are not two girls in a relationship, that they are not, we need a ravacha, I don't know how to say it in English, how would you say ravacha in English? The office of the government to take care of this situation, because it was involving a kid. And it even wasn't me, I just put the step and a half, and then it met a light soul, a light walker that did something about it, and then this kid will get the right tools to grow up, and also the souls that are now hurt and need the right frame to heal themselves will get it. But if nobody will do anything about it, so nothing will happen. So don't think about the police. Don't think about the result. Just think about the fact and choose to believe it, and it's a choice, that if you do it a step and a half, it will meet step and a half of something else, and it's a butterfly effect, and go with that, and be optimistic about it. And stop fighting with you about it, because we will never agree, and this is what's cool about us, that you are in that edge, and I'm taking to that edge, so keep with your truth, it's good.
It's also a matter of age.
Yeah, great. Love you. Anyway, let's go back to you, because this is why we are here. I'm going to take some answers from home, and I will put it out.
Okay.
You don't know the questions, and this is what will make it cool.
So,
What was the one thing? Michael Jordan? Somebody called Michael because I think that he forgot that he's working on the studios and there is a sound thing, but maybe he wanted to say Michael Jordan. So tell me, what do you think about Michael Jordan? He's 23.
yeah,
Number.
He was my idol growing up. I wanted to be him.
So maybe it wasn't a coincidence.
Maybe, yes.
So can you share about it? Because it's cool to share about like a kid that have an idol. Share about it. Tell me about it.
Sure. So I grew up in China, and I wasn't able to see NBA games on TV, so I just had these videos of Michael Jordan, and I would watch them every day after school. That's it. And I wanted to be him. I wanted to dunk from the free throw line, and you know, he's like a god to kids, so he was to me. Like I was living in the middle of China, and my goal was to go to America and play in the NBA.
And you ever met him?
Well, I played for the Chicago Bulls, which is his team, so yeah, I met him quite a
And
few.
how was the first meeting? What did you feel?
It's different when you're in the NBA because he's not your idol anymore. Like,
Exactly, and it's a really cool point, and we are going to continue about that story, but I wanted to put a light on that point. When we are kids, we have God.
John Cena.
Okay, thank you for that. I had John Cena. You can see me. Yeah, I think that he was the only God I had. Maybe I have this basketball player, Michael Jackson, I used to play professional basketball as well.
Yes.
And
Yes,
the
you
little
did.
young player was Michael Jackson, but it was already 2 months. Anyway, the point is not John Cena. The point is that everyone, when he's a kid, thank you for that, has God. Until you are, and I don't agree with her, it's not just a matter of age, it's also a matter of age, but it's mostly age of your soul and
Spiritual age.
and steps of the soul that the soul managed to do. This is the right truth, mind truth, whatever. And understand that the God exists in every one of us. Every one of us has higher self, has the God's power, and it's a really tiny line between an idol that gives us motivation and inspiration, and between to be a fan of something, and as soon as you can get that kind of lesson for your soul, it will be better for you, because it's amazing to appreciate and I don't know, an idol, but it's another thing to be a fan. Because then you make something bigger than you, and we are all big in the same.
It's getting inspiration.
And it's taking your energy out.
It's getting inspiration in, or if you're a fan, you take your energy out. This is the difference. That's why what you're saying now, and this is very true. When you are inspired from someone who is playing very nice, singing very nice, a very good lawyer, whatever, a very good actor, it's something that inspires you to be better, to learn something, to do something, to improve yourself.
To be creative.
To be creative. But when you are a fan and you're looking at him, and it means that you give him all your power. And this is a mistake.
Exactly, and this is why I stopped you for a second.
Mm-hmm.
But now, can you share more about that that direction? About it used to be my God, but then I got to be an NBA player, and then I met him.
I think it's a lesson about changing your perspectives, because we're sort of hypnotized by the television, because all the information that we get from it is not real. And
thank you for that.
When you're
Okay,
young,
thank you for 2-1 for him. I will win him. I wanted to give you a kind of a high five, and my hand will stay here.
we'll do this. You know, in basketball, you do this.
Thank you. I will suck my loss for a second, and we will think about step and a half to win, but 2-1 for you. Keep going with the really important thing, yeah.
So the television destroys your perspective, and cutting your idols off, cutting their legs off, is about getting control of your perspective. It's to realize that what you see of them is not real. It's edited footage, it's their highlights, it's people adding noise to the background and loving them. And then the perspective of yourself is also not real, because all day you're in the mirror very close, looking at every detail. And if you switch your behavior with these two things, then suddenly you start to be lifted up, and you cut them down, and you realize there was never the big difference between us like you thought.
I want to challenge you.
Sure.
Thank you for that. I agree with you with all of my heart. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the moment that you felt that you switched off the thing that you just said, that you started to understand?
Yes.
Can you share when it was, what was the moment?
Yeah, I mean, it was a complex process, but I'll try to explain it. First, I'll say that to be an amateur basketball player, it's nothing like being a professional. And I'm talking about the NBA. The NBA is different from other lower level levels. It takes like very, very deep spiritual things to happen. And they're very difficult to explain, but this one it's like untying little knots of fear and your inability to attack risk. And when you can start to undo those knots, you can start to see things differently for the first time. And the thing that you see differently is that it's not risky to challenge these people. It's no longer a risk. And it's really fear going away in you. And then you take the risk and challenge them, and everything's okay. So then you do it again a little bit, and then you can never see these people the same way again. You don't see them as big, you don't see them as monsters, you don't see them as fast, as talented. You just see them as nothing. And then you wake up every day thinking, I'm just as good or I'm better than them. It's not even a risk anymore.
There is also a method to do it like in Eli Makbil style from the television, that when you see a judge, like you see a judge, and he's very, he thinks he's very important and feels himself very important. So you just imagine him in his underwears, doing stupid things, or other things anyway. I want.
Okay, thank you. Thank you
And
for
this
that.
is a way. This is also a way
she's
to
right,
to do this.
No, I know she's right. I just
Which
don't want
in
to hear
English-
air mental routine. But I'm going to use that, and it's great because you just connected with me in a telepathic way. Because I call the show also the brain of a professional athlete, and I really want to put the mental work inside of it. And every one of us has like a different mental work, mental routine, mental tools that you use with yourself to develop this skill, to understand that nobody is a monster, nobody is better than us, nobody. And I want to ask you about now, also now mental routine if you have, but especially the mental routine that you had and things that you used to do with yourself, especially in the beginning of the NBA first season that you get there, like because it's like, okay, I'm swimming with the sharks. How do I become the best shark I can become to swim better?
I could talk about it for 10 hours, but I'll continue with what we were discussing, which is when you want to stop yourself from being intimidated or afraid of people, what I always try to do is to get intimate with them. And intimacy means to be close in all the ways that you can perceive them, like your sight, your smell, your touch. It's like if you're it's like you have a beautiful woman and you're scared to talk to her. Well, the best thing to do is to get really close to her, because then you realize she's just a person, and you smell her and you're like, oh, she's just a person. And then if you get very close and talk to her, she loses this energy of like some higher like entity, and you become very comfortable. So in basketball, instead of watching them on a TV, and even instead of looking at them from far away, I try to get as close as possible. And when I'm close, I try to touch. Like I touch them with my body in practice, even if they're players from the other team. I try to get very close and look them in the eye, and I realize that they're just humans, they're just people. And when you do this, it takes away this sense that you're dealing with some kind of a god that can hurt you.
So great. Thank you for the drama, the acting, the touching. Amazing. I want to take a step back from that.
Sure.
This was my question, but it was really important that you say that because I was going there anywhere. In order to do that action, because this is the act part, right? But in order to be brave enough and strong enough and also smart enough on choosing your right moves, because for you that moves work, but for another people maybe the intimacy will be another thing, yeah? But this is not the point. You are stepping to the step to become this version of you that can be able to be this animal, whatever. And I will give my example for a second just to make it clear, my question even more. A terrible thing happened to me in LA. This is why I added, because electricity, but after the terrible thing that happened to me in LA, I really had challenging times. And I knew that I need to become the best version of myself, the animal, whatever. So I did a lot of things that helped me. And for example, every morning I looked inside of my eyes and I started to say a really good thing to myself. I love you. You're beautiful. You're strong. You are better than that. Blah, blah. Sports, okay, training, things like that. A grateful diary. Every soul as it's. I listening every time I had a few minutes. Each day, there's no way that I didn't do meditation or didn't listen to motivation. Affirmation and motivation from people that I can take inspired from to train my mind that I could be able to go back to the game. Mm-hmm. And I want to ask you about your mental routine in that way, like a specific tools, a specific things that you did in order to become that kind of animal.
Sure. So the first thing I'll say is when kids want to be professional athletes, they think, how much weightlifting do I need to do? How much running do I need to do? How much shooting do I need to do on the court? And this is all below what you really need to do. This is amateur bullshit. It'll get you to be a good basketball player. It'll never get you to be a professional. The real professional things happen underneath that. And the number one, which was my secret, it's not really a secret.
Wait. Again. Yes.
Secret.
Secrets, we love secrets.
Well, it's not a secret today
secrets out, like
because it's exactly what you said. So The number one is moments of honesty with myself, and the way that I used to do this, the way I did it for 10 years, from the age of 10 years old until 20, is I would look at myself in the mirror, and I would get close enough so that I could see the mirror reflection that's inside your eye. Because when you get close to the mirror, you can see yourself in your eye. You know what I'm saying?
I get
And that's how close I would be. And that in that moment, I would speak to myself, because there's some connection between your eyes and when you look inside them and your stomach. I don't know what it is, but I know that whatever wisdom you have in your stomach, it speaks to you not in English, not in Hebrew, not in a language, but you have access to it when you're quiet and when you look into your own eyes, and when you be comfortable with the fact that maybe you won't like what you hear or won't like what you see. And if you do that consistently, you build what I call a relationship with yourself. And I think that when you build that relationship with yourself, you can start to be honest with yourself. And that's like the fundamental of getting to become a professional in athletics, is self-honesty. It's not about like how much you train. It's about, are you fucking honest with yourself when you go to bed at night? Like, did you really do what you needed to do? Because on the paper of what you need to train, there's a million ways to cheat it, to go around, even to check it and say, I did it. But there's only one thing that will really say you accomplished what you needed to that day, which is honesty. And nobody can force you to be honest. The only way that you can achieve honesty is if you look at yourself in the mirror, look in your eyes, and pause and be quiet, and speak directly to your stomach and say, am I being real with myself? And that's the real skill that if you practice and master it, it can allow you to get what you want. And the last thing I'll say is that it's also the skill that allows you to discover what you actually want.
Whoosh! Chamsa. You know what is chamsa in Hebrew? You know what is a chamsa? Like, God bless you. Like chamsa.
So,
Thank you for that.
yeah, for sure. Thank you for the
I'm
question.
electricity. It was really inspiring.
Cool.
It was like hypnotic, and it's so fucking true.
Okay.
But you also, you like put it in this kind of frame that was really right, really on point.
Okay.
This is the most important thing. This is like the essence of every subject in this. It doesn't care. I told you a bunch of times. Self-love. He said, you build a relationship with yourself, and it's so. Everything in English sounds better sometimes, you know. This self-love gym, to build a relationship with yourself, this is the key to life, to a good, meaningful, free, full, joyful, lifeful,
Yes,
everything cool for, wait a second, life. And it's a choice. It's a choice, because everybody that ever tried to go to the mirror and to do that will know that it's not always so comfortable to do that, because it forces you to meet yourself, to be honest with yourself. It forces you to start go deep with yourself. It's one way to go deep with yourself, and it's a choice to start go train your self-love muscles, and you can do it in your home. You don't need anything except a mirror.
You should love yourself even though you know yourself. You know also the darkness that you have in yourself, the dark spots, the things that you are not so good at it, and maybe even things that you don't like about yourself. And this is the way to know yourself and to like you, to love you, even though you are not perfect, and that's okay. You're a human being.
Nobody is perfect, but we are all whole, and we are all have God in us. And this is the thing, we are chasing about this perfection thing that doesn't exist.
And also, it was very inspiring to know that even a professional player in the NBA, the real issue about getting there, it's not only the physical missions like practicing and things like this. It's a mental work. You should, and what this mother should know, that her son will have to do a lot of mental work to get there. And if he won't do it, it can be very
Hurtful.
hurtful.
Heartbreaker.
It's not. It's like feeling I'm doing, and nothing is happened. הנה, סימן אמת. בריאות והצלחה. So.
Amen.
Amen ואמן.
This is the Hebrew word.
Yes, and so it was for me. I'm not familiar with professional player and their
Do you
way
know
of
who is
life.
Michael Jordan?
I know the name.
But Space Jam
the
you didn't
name.
know.
Who?
When I asked you if you know Space Jam,
No.
you didn't know, but Michael Jordan you know.
What's the Space Jam?
Space Jam is so cool.
It's a nickname that people give me sometimes. Space Jam.
Really? So you see, you are Michael Jordan. There was a movie with Michael Jordan named Space Jam.
There's
blah,
also
blah,
ugly
blah.
monsters in it, so I might be them.
It's cool. Monster is cool. You just say you want to be a monster.
Okay.
And they have this like a computer game.
Okay, no.
I really like
I don't know it. But it's very for someone who doesn't know the way they live, and sometimes you see it in television and you are, wow, how did they do it? It's they jump so and put the ball from places that you don't understand how a human being
Oh my God!
is
I
doing
cannot
it.
believe it. I didn't told you to bring a basketball with you because it could
But
be
we can
really
do it
cool.
on afterwards to put it. And
Okay, yeah, we can do a lot of things, but there is a ball there over there.
It's
What
a
is that?
medicine ball.
But it's not a basketball.
אבל אין לך
But now I will show you out to the deep water.
Deep water.
Because if the question was about balancing stuff and when the kid has like a window of time, he's investing his whole of him inside of the kayak routine. Where is the love,
Where's the love?
relationships, romantic love inside of that?
You mean with
All of your
like a
all of your
sexual
years.
partner?
That's like relationship, yeah,
So like with a girlfriend and a boyfriend, is this what you mean?
yeah,
Where is it?
yeah. If you find
No,
time for that.
If you want, oh, sorry, go ahead.
if you have time for it.
If you want that, go ahead, go have that, but you're not going to be a pro.
Oh, bummer. I know all of you are curious and wants to hear more about the love life of a professional athlete and also about the love life of Joe Alexander himself. But this is it for part 1. Part 2 will be uploaded next week. Same time, same day. Stay tuned. Don't miss this part. I promise you it's going to be interesting, a lot of tools, a lot of inspiration. See you next week.